The war ended without mercy. Smoke covered the ground like a dark blanket. Burned metal, broken weapons, and silent bodies were scattered everywhere. The battlefield, once loud with explosions and screams, was now quiet. Too quiet. Only the sound of distant fires breaking apart the silence. She lay in the dirt, unable to move. The alien warrior had once been strong. She had led attacks. She had stood at the front lines. Many feared her name. But now, her armor was broken, her weapon far away, and her legs were gone. Torn away by a final blast that had ended the battle. Pain burned through her body, but she did not scream anymore. She had no strength left for that. She slowly turned her head and watched her army retreat. Rows of alien soldiers moved away from the battlefield. Ships lifted into the sky. Command vehicles rolled back toward safety. No one looked at her. No one stopped. Not even once. She understood what this meant. In her culture, wounded soldiers who could not fight were considered finished. A burden. A waste of resources. Mercy was not part of their rules. Strength was everything. And now, she had none. Her commander's last message echoed in her mind. She can no longer fight. Leave her. That was all. She was not angry. Not anymore. The anger had burned out with the pain. What remained was emptiness. A cold feeling deeper than fear. She stared at the sky above her. Dark clouds moved slowly, hiding the stars. She wondered if this was how it ended. Not in glory. Not remembered. Just forgotten in the dirt like broken metal. Time passed. She did not know how long. Her vision became blurry. Her breathing was slow and weak. The cold ground beneath her felt heavier with every moment. She closed her eyes, ready to let go. Then she heard footsteps. At first, she thought it was her mind playing tricks on her. But the sound grew clearer. Heavy. Steady. Close. She opened her eyes. Through the smoke, a tall figure walked toward her. The shape was wrong. The armor was different. Smooth in some places. Rough in others. Not alien design. Human. Her heart tightened. Humans were dangerous. Everyone knew that. They fought with strange tactics and impossible stubbornness. They did not retreat when they should. They did not break when others would. Many in the galaxy feared them. She had fought them before. She had lost many soldiers to them. Now one of them stood in front of her. The human marine looked down at her silently. His helmet hid his face. His weapon was in his hands, ready. He was breathing hard, like someone who had been fighting without rest. She knew what would happen next. This was how enemies ended each other's stories. She gathered what little strength she had left and lifted her head slightly. She would not beg. She would not cry. She would face death the way a warrior should. Slowly, she closed her eyes. Seconds passed. Nothing happened. No gunshot. No blade. No pain. Confused, she opened her eyes again. The human was still there. But his weapon was no longer aimed at her. He was looking at her injuries. At the empty space where her legs had been. At the blood soaking into the dirt. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then something unexpected happened. The human marine stepped closer. Closer to an enemy. Closer to a dying alien. And the battlefield that had forgotten her, suddenly was not empty anymore. The human marine stood still, watching her breathe. His helmet display showed danger warnings across the battlefield. Low visibility. Possible enemy scans. Incoming patrol risk. His orders were simple and clear: retreat. No prisoners. No delays. She was the delay. The alien warrior kept her eyes on him. She expected death every second. Her body was weak, but her mind stayed sharp. She noticed the way he shifted his weight, the way his fingers rested on the weapon trigger. He was trained. Ready. Dangerous. Yet he did not fire. Instead, he lowered his weapon completely. That single action confused her more than pain ever had. The Marine turned his head slightly, listening to something only he could hear. A voice spoke through his helmet, his squad leader. "Marine, status report. Why are you still out there?" He did not answer right away. He looked down at the alien again. Her armor markings showed rank. She was not just a soldier. She was important. Once. Blood covered the ground beneath her. Her breathing was uneven. She would not survive long without help. "She's the enemy," the voice in his helmet continued. "Leave her. We are pulling out now." The Marine clenched his jaw. He remembered his training. Humans were taught many things. How to fight. How to kill. How to win. But they were also taught something else. Something simple. You do not leave the wounded behind. It did not matter who they were. He slowly knelt down, keeping his movements calm. Not threatening. The alien warrior watched closely, unsure what this strange behavior meant. He reached toward her, but stopped. She flinched. The Marine noticed. "It's okay," he said quietly, his voice rough from smoke and exhaustion. She did not understand his words, but she understood his tone. It was not hatred. It was not anger. It was steady. Controlled. Safe. That thought shocked her. No one had ever spoken to her like that on a battlefield. The Marine activated a small device on his wrist. A quick scan ran over her body. The screen flashed red warnings. Critical injuries. Massive blood loss. No mobility. The odds were clear. Saving her would be hard. Saving her would slow him down. Saving her could get him killed. "She won't make it," the voice in his helmet said again. "We can't risk the team." The Marine closed his eyes for a brief moment. Then he did something no one expected. He switched off his squad channel. Silence filled his helmet. The alien warrior noticed his movement. Fear returned to her chest. She thought this meant he had made his choice. But not the one she expected. The Marine carefully removed his helmet. His face was human. Dirt-covered. Tired. Young, but with eyes that had seen too much war. He looked at her directly now, with nothing between them. "Listen," he said softly, knowing she might not understand. "I'm not leaving you." Her eyes widened slightly. Why? That single question burned inside her mind. Why would a human risk his life for an enemy? Why would he disobey orders? Why would he care? She tried to speak, but only a weak sound escaped her throat. The Marine reached into his pack and pulled out a medical kit. Human-made. Simple. Effective. He worked fast, pressing bandages against her wounds, sealing burns, stopping the bleeding as best he could. His hands were steady, practiced. Every touch confused her further. Her own people would never do this. They would have walked away. As he worked, distant sounds echoed across the field. Engines. Movement. The battlefield was not as empty as before. Time was running out. The Marine finished securing the last bandage and looked around. Escape would not be easy. Carrying her would slow him. Hiding would not last long. He looked back at her and made his decision. "I've got you," he said. And for the first time since she lost everything, the alien warrior felt something she had never known on any battlefield. Hope. The human Marine took a deep breath and looked across the battlefield. Smoke still hung low, but the wind was changing. It pushed the dark clouds aside, revealing broken towers, burning vehicles, and bodies left behind by both sides. Enemy scanners would pass soon. He could not stay here. He turned back to the alien warrior. She was watching him closely now. No fear. No anger. Only confusion. Her world had collapsed, and this human stood in the middle of the ruins, breaking every rule she had ever known. He reached down and slid one arm behind her back and the other under her remaining armor plates. She tensed at first, then stopped resisting. She did not have the strength. And strangely, she did not want to fight him. With a sharp breath, the Marine lifted her. Pain shot through his body. His armor was damaged, his muscles already tired from battle. Carrying another soldier, especially one in heavy alien armor, was not part of the escape plan. But he adjusted his stance and secured her against his back. Her head rested against his shoulder. This was wrong. Too close. Too personal. She could hear his heartbeat through the armor. Fast. Strong. Human. The Marine moved forward, step by heavy step, leaving the open battlefield behind. Every sound made him tense. A distant explosion. A flicker of light in the sky. Any of it could mean danger. The alien warrior closed her eyes for a moment. The movement made her dizzy. She focused on staying awake. She had survived too much to fade now. As they moved through twisted metal and broken ground, small drones appeared overhead. Enemy scouts. The Marine froze. He lowered himself carefully behind a destroyed transport and held his breath. The alien warrior felt the tension in his body. She knew this moment well. One mistake meant death. The drones hovered, scanning. She expected him to drop her. To use her as a shield. To save himself. He did not. Instead, he shifted his body to block her heat signature with his armor. He stayed still, even as the strain caused his muscles to shake. The drones moved on. When the danger passed, he exhaled slowly and kept moving. More sounds followed. This time, voices. Her people. A small patrol was moving across the ruins. Searching for survivors. Or loot. Or proof of victory. The Marine ducked into a narrow gap between two fallen structures. There was no room to turn back. No space to hide fully. The alien warrior felt panic rise. If her people saw her like this, being carried by a human, they would not understand. The Marine leaned close to the wall, keeping them in shadow. A group of soldiers passed just meters away. She recognized their markings. They had once followed her orders. None of them looked in her direction. She felt something break inside her chest. Not pain. Not fear. Loss. The Marine waited until the voices faded before moving again. His steps grew slower. His breathing heavier. Blood ran down his arm from a cut in his armor. Still, he did not stop. At the edge of the battlefield, a human extraction point came into view. A temporary zone, hidden by jamming fields and smoke cover. It was not safe yet, but it was close. Then everything went wrong. A sudden blast shook the ground behind them. The Marine was thrown forward. He hit the dirt hard, rolling to protect her. The impact knocked the air from his lungs. For a moment, he did not move. The alien warrior felt terror grip her. She could not stand. She could not help. She could only watch his still body. Human, she whispered, her voice barely there. Her people's artillery had found them. More fire rained down. The Marine groaned and pushed himself up, despite the pain screaming through his body. Blood ran down his face. His vision was blurred, but his focus stayed locked on one thing. Her. He grabbed her again and pulled her close. "I'm not done yet," he said through clenched teeth. As explosions lit the sky, the human marine stood tall, carrying the enemy everyone else had left behind. And the galaxy, though it did not know it yet, was about to remember this moment forever. The explosion faded into a low ringing sound. For a moment, everything felt unreal. The alien warrior's vision swam between light and shadow. She felt herself being carried again, but her body was heavy, numb. The world moved in broken pieces. The human marine did not stop. He pushed forward through fire and falling debris, moving on instinct more than strength. His armor systems were damaged. Warning lights flashed inside his helmet. Pain slowed his steps, but he refused to listen to it. At the edge of the extraction zone, a human dropship waited in silence, hidden by smoke and electronic cover. Its ramp was still closed. The Marine raised his arm and fired a signal flare. Nothing happened. His radio crackled to life. "Unidentified movement approaching the zone," a voice said. "Marine, you are not cleared for extraction." "Repeat, you are not cleared." The alien warrior felt his body tense. "She's wounded," he replied. "She needs medical help now." A pause followed. "She's alien," the voice answered. "High Command did not authorize this." The Marine looked down at the alien warrior. Her skin was pale. Her breathing shallow. She was slipping away. "If we leave her," he said slowly, "she dies." Silence filled the channel again. The alien warrior expected the ramp to stay closed. She had seen enough of command decisions to know how this ended. Then a new voice joined the channel. Calm. Older. "Marine, state your reason." He did not hesitate. "Because we don't decide who deserves to live based on their species," he said. "Because leaving her makes us no better than the ones who abandoned her." Another pause. Time felt heavy. Then the dropship ramp began to lower. Medics rushed forward as soon as the Marine crossed the line. They lifted the alien warrior onto a medical stretcher without hesitation. Machines surrounded her. Lights. Scanners. Hands moving fast. The Marine finally let go. The moment he did, his strength failed him. He collapsed to one knee, breathing hard. A medic grabbed his arm. "Sit down," she ordered. "You're hurt." He looked up at the alien warrior as they carried her away. "Don't let her die," he said. The medic nodded. "We won't." Inside the ship, the alien warrior drifted in and out of consciousness. She saw white lights. Heard human voices speaking in calm tones. No anger. No fear. Only focus. She felt pain, but also care. Something she had never known. Hours later, she woke again. The room was clean. Quiet. Human symbols marked the walls. Machines hummed softly beside her. Her body felt lighter, supported. She looked down. Where her legs should have been, advanced medical frames were attached. Not finished, but planned. Designed to help her walk again. Her chest tightened. A human doctor noticed her movement and stepped closer. "You're safe," the doctor said gently. "You're on a human medical ship." The alien warrior tried to speak. Her voice was weak, but the words came out. "Why?" The doctor tilted her head. "Why what?" "Why help me?" she asked. "I am your enemy." The doctor smiled softly. "Not proud. Not cruel. Because you were hurt," she replied. "And because one of our own believed you were worth saving." Later, the Marine stood outside the medical bay, his arm wrapped in bandages. His body ached, but his mind was clear. The alien warrior was alive. High Command summoned him soon after. They questioned his actions. His disobedience. His choice. He answered honestly. I saw a soldier left to die, he said. I chose to act. Some officers were angry. Others thoughtful. In the end, command made a decision. The alien warrior would live. She would be repaired. And she would be allowed to return, when ready. Not as a prisoner. But as proof. That day, humanity made a choice. Not based on victory. Not based on fear. But on who they chose to be. The alien warrior stood at the observation window, looking out into space. Stars drifted past the glass like silent witnesses. She had seen space many times before, from warships, command decks, invasion fleets. But this view felt different. Calm. Open. Free. She was standing. Not as she once had, but still standing. Her new legs were made of human technology and alien design combined. Smooth metal frames wrapped with flexible armor. They moved when she moved, responding to her thoughts. Each step felt strange, but strong. Behind her, the human marine waited quietly. He had not visited her often. He did not seek praise. He did not ask for thanks. He simply checked in, made sure she was recovering, and then returned to duty. That made his presence now feel important. You walk well, he said. She turned to face him. You gave me more than legs, she replied. You gave me a reason to stand. The Marine shifted slightly, uncomfortable. I just did what anyone should do, he answered. She studied his face. The calm eyes. The tired lines that war had carved into him. She realized something then. Humans did not see themselves as special. That was what made them dangerous, and powerful. When she was strong enough, human command arranged a meeting. Not a trial. Not an interrogation. A conversation. Representatives from several species joined through holograms. Many watched her carefully, surprised she was alive at all. Rumors had spread quickly. An alien saved by a human marine. An enemy treated as a soldier. She spoke clearly. I was abandoned, she said. Not by humans. By my own people. A low murmur passed through the gathering. She continued. I was left to die because I could no longer fight. A human found me. He had every reason to kill me. He did not. She turned slightly, looking at the Marine. He carried me through fire. He defied his orders. He chose mercy. The room fell silent. Her own species listened closely. Some looked ashamed. Others confused. They had never seen mercy used as strength. Humans fight hard, she said. But they do not abandon the wounded. Not even their enemies. That message spread. Across fleets. Across borders. Across the galaxy. Soon, the story reached worlds far from the battlefield. Stories of human warships had always carried fear. But now, something else followed them. Respect. Human soldiers noticed the change first. Alien patrols hesitated before attacking. Negotiations lasted longer. Threats were replaced with caution. Humanity had not changed their weapons. They had changed how others saw them. Before she left the ship, the alien warrior met the Marine one last time. I will return to my people, she said. But I will never forget what you did. He nodded. Neither will I. She paused, then asked the question that had lived inside her since the battlefield. Why me? He thought for a moment. Because leaving you would have made me someone I don't want to be, he said simply. She bowed her head, not as surrender, but as respect. When she departed, she carried more than new legs. She carried a truth. Across the galaxy, the story was told again and again. Not of a great battle. Not of a powerful weapon. But of a single human who saw a fallen enemy and chose not to walk away. And that was the day the galaxy learned something it would never forget. Humans do not measure worth by strength alone. They measure it by who they refuse to abandon.